What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here at Matty Fish 33. So we're gonna do another fish feature finally. I'm sure some of you have probably been waiting on this. I've been talking about doing it, but I got focused on dealing with the setup of the cube aquarium. But today's fish feature, I went ahead and picked this one. We're gonna go ahead. Also, real quick, check out V here. He's really fired up today, looking beautiful. But anyways, this video is not about V or VC10 cichlid. Today's video is gonna be about Starboy, aka Starlord, or Star Sapphire cichlid. Now, name-wise, I say Starboy because I called him Starboy before he had his chips, and now that he's starting to chip up, I'd say he's kind of beginning to graduate to STARLORD. He's obviously not fully chipped up, but nonetheless, he's a really beautiful fish already at this point, and he's getting there. As you can see, he's just kind of was chilling there in front of the wave maker. So let's go ahead into the fish feature for our Star Sapphire cichlid. So, scientific name for these guys, Placidochromis sp. Phenocylus, Tanzania. They are distant cousins. Well, I wouldn't say distant. Let's just say, like, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's kind of like ancient lineage, and this is the new offshoot of an Indoka whitelips and also of a blue dolphin. So sometime along the lineage of cichlids interbreeding in the wild, blue dolphins and Indoka whitelips, and a few other fish, which I wasn't able to really kind of pinpoint that, you know, kind of interbreeded over the years, and the result is the beautiful Star Sapphire cichlid. Now this guy, as he continues to grow, right now he's about 6 inches, so he's probably going to grow maybe another 2 inches, so they grow to about 6 to 8, maybe a little bit larger than 8 inches in some cases. It just kind of depends. With this guy being a male, he's probably going to be more on that upper end of the spectrum. You see he's got this really like nice deep blue beautiful undertone. You're not going to see that as much in a female. Female is going to be more of like a grayish slaty type blue, and a female is going to forever have those bars, which one day this guy's bars are going to fully disappear when he becomes a brilliant underwater gem, kind of, much less for a lack of a better way of putting it, turning into a disco ball in the water. Because as you can see, these chips are going to continue filling out. I mean, look, he's even got some on his eyes right there, but really, really beautiful fish. One other thing about these guys, so like, kind of as like the Latin root of the scientific name would hint at, Placidochromis, first word, right? So one thing I've really noticed while keeping this guy, also to note, this is an F1 Starfire, this is an F1 generation fish. But so Placidochromis, one thing I've noticed is this guy is kind of just, you know, he's boss man status. He brings that big man energy, so to speak, and you know, he doesn't really mess with anybody. Anytime I've ever seen him moving up the ranks, he just kind of paces fish, doesn't nip at anybody, you know, very, very laid back for an African cichlid. Now obviously if they were breeding or, you know, anything like that, it's going to be like other Africans. We're going to have all kinds of aggression if there were some breeding or anything like that. Your water parameters on these guys, you're looking at anywhere from about 76 to 82 degrees, good general range. Probably a little bit higher is okay, wouldn't exactly recommend it. As many of you that have been following along probably know by now, I generally try to keep my tank around 80 degrees. But, so what causes this chipping that these fish have? So I actually didn't know this, but I figured it out through a little bit of research. I thought it was a fun fact that I was going to share with you guys. So there's two things that I'm going to share with you right now. So there's actually two variants of Star Sapphire. One of them I've never seen. This is like, you know, what you're typically going to see in the aquarium hobby and represented as the star sapphire in the wild. But to my understanding, through a little research, there is actually a rarer version, and who knows, guys, maybe one day I will work on getting one of those as well. So what actually causes the chipping in these fish are small inclusions of the mineral rutile. And then the other variant that I was talking about, apparently there's a black variant of these fish, and the silver chipping in them is caused by hematite. That's pretty darn cool if you gotta ask me. You know, so I mean, I thought that was a really interesting fact. I've seen several videos of other people doing fish features on star sapphires, and I don't think I've ever really seen anybody mention that much. Honestly, until I was kind of doing some research for some extra facts on this guy for you guys, I had never heard of there being a black variant. However, just like the rest of most of these fish in this tank, and most of your hap and peacock variants of African cichlid, these guys are endemic to Lake Malawi. More specifically for these guys, the northern part of the lake, your lifespan is going to be about 8 to 10 years, maybe a little longer with the proper care and concern. I'm hoping that I can push this guy maybe to around that 12-year mark, maybe more. Who knows? I mean, it just kind of depends. Like, when you see online and read about, you know, general lifespans of cichlids and other fishes, that's just kind of a generalized average, you know, with your normal aquarium keeper. I mean, I think at this point that I'm a little bit beyond what you would call your normal aquarium keeper, as some of you that have been following the channel know how many tanks I have and the plans that I have for future potentially. I mean, guys, let's be honest. If I didn't live in an apartment and I had a house, I would have an entire basement full of fish and some ponds probably too. I mean, sky's the limit. But, you know, this video is not about it. This video is about STARLORD, our star sapphire cichlid here. So, as I mentioned before, these guys do grow quite large. Gonna be, you know, around 7 to 8 inches for males. So, you know, if you're a normal guy, about the size of your hand, maybe a little bit bigger. So minimum tank size for these guys, I would say at least 125 gallons. You're going to want to give them space and stuff. This guy's in 155 gallon right now, and one day these guys are probably going to get upgraded to something in the realm of, you know, 240, 300, maybe more. Who knows? It just depends on when I get the space. But like I said, guys, really beautiful fish. I really wanted to choose this fish to do a fish feature today. Gotta be one of my favorite fish right now. One of my all-time favorite fish. This is actually the first star sapphire I've owned, not gonna lie. Years ago, though, I did see them in a store, in a tank, and they were fully chipped out, and they just looked like a complete mirror ball. And I told myself that one day I was gonna have one of these fish. And of course, I felt like, of course he goes up top so it's hard to see him, but of course I felt like if I did this, I only had to do it right. I had to get a wild caught fish or an F1. I couldn't find a wild caught fish, so I got the next best thing. We have an F1 star sapphire cichlid, and I cannot wait until he finishes chipping up. But again, guys, look how beautiful this fish is becoming. So if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, share, click that bell, get those notifications, and join me on Sunday for Sunday swims, guys, here at Matty Fish 33. Please, I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Join us for Sunday swims. Join us on this African cichlid journey, and check out some of my other videos if you haven't yet. There's plenty of fish, plenty of tanks. There's a little bit of something for everybody. But for now, we're going to say goodbye to STARLORD, and we will catch you in the next video. Matty Fish out.